There are a lot of channels that talk about Dexter on YouTube. It is a very popular series. Its popularity has increased with New Blood and Original Sin and Resurrection. You know, these different series that have come out since the original show ended over 10 years ago. And I normally do not like to talk about other channels because I'm very focused on trying to produce my own content, experiment with different things. But I have been feeling compelled to discuss really some of the worst aspects of this site. Now, to clarify, people make reviews of Dexter where they like portions I don't like. They make reviews where, they might have issue with something that I do like. And that's completely fine. I have never had an issue with a difference of opinion, with people saying this part is good, this part is bad. That's all dandy to me. What I'm taking issue with is a specific type of content that I fail to see where it brings anything to the table in terms of something that we need, like something that is worthwhile or that should be listened to. Now, in Resurrection, and I'm going to spoil the season, so be warned. I'm not going to spoil episode 10 because it's not out yet, but for the first 9 episodes, there will be things and comments that are referencing it. But in Resurrection, they have had this recurring plot thread of the New York Ripper, who is this serial killer that's evaded capture. And as far as we can tell, Prater knows who it is. No, and we had like a recording of his voice at one point. The detective, Claudette, is obsessed with trying to solve this case. It's a plot thread that probably, I would wager, will be a bigger deal as the show progresses, right? If they get a season 2, season 3, etc. This one plot thread led to a multitude of speculation videos. Now, some people will make one video, or they'll even, like, during the reviews, will say, hey, I think New York Ripper might be this person, right? I've seen people say that they think the Ripper might be, Jonah from the original Dexter series, Trinity's son. And again, that's completely fine to me. But what ends up happening with these channels that are so starved of content and can only focus on one series is that to perpetuate themselves in the algorithm, they have to start making up theories and speculations that make, I'm just going to be blunt, no goddamn sense. There were videos posted within the last couple of weeks by this channel called Dark Passenger TV, where he wonders if Blessing is the New York Ripper. And about 2 weeks later, he's posting a video of whether Elsa is the New York Ripper. Now, anyone who actually watches this goddamn show would be able to tell that Blessing, in all likelihood, is not the Ripper. The reason we can infer that is that Blessing gets very upset when Dexter reveals to his daughter that he was a child soldier, and it wouldn't make sense for a character who seems very remorseful about the fact that he killed someone when he was a kid going around being a serial killer. But again, even if you were to say, oh, well, maybe he's only upset because she knows about it, even though very clearly he's upset at the fact that this is something he had to do as a child soldier. How the hell does it make any sense that Elsa, who is a woman, might be the New York Ripper when we heard the Ripper's voice, the Ripper's male voice, when he taunted one of his victims in some recording that Claudette plays during episode 7. And, I know if you go and watch this video, you'll hear some BS about how, she might have some kind of technology. They might be pulling the Scream 3 and she can change her voice but like, really think about this. This channel, and he's not the only one. There's another channel that is Blessing the New York Ripper video, but as far as I can tell, he is the only one that wondered if a woman was a male killer. You have to really ask yourself, what is the purpose of making those types of videos other than to just constantly be in the algorithm, right? When the episode comes out, most people will do a review of that one episode and then they'll wait next week to review the next one. And then sometimes people will do like a whole season review, which is what I intend to do. These channels are so starved of content, so incapable of actually talking about anything substantive relating to the show, right? Stuff they like, stuff they think is a misfire, that they just keep constantly cranking out these theory videos even when they have little basis in reality. The one thing I'll give them credit for is that, and I'm going to talk about this as well, we had the twist that Gemini was, a set of twins, and I thought that this meant we were going to get, more with the killer and like that character, and then they kill him off in the exact next episode. And a lot of these channels were running with the theory that, he was going to be around for a while and be very scary to Red/Dexter. And, they were like really hyping him up, which is what made it so anticlimactic when he was killed off, one episode after his brother / another character played by the same actor. And that's where you kind of get where I'm giving them a little bit of credit, because that's something the show set them up to believe, but it still goes back to this thing where they can't make any material that's not either a theory video that's, wondering what's going to happen in the next episode, or some kind of generic plot recap. And, the thing I can't quite get over, because, there's plenty of them. There's Dexcutioner and what's the other one? Dark Passenger TV. I just want to ask people in the comment section, why is it so hard to just talk with your actual voice? Sometimes I stutter, right? I might forget what I'm saying. I try to alleviate when I have those gaps when I'm speaking by, editing the audio. But I really don't get where, and remember, I'd love to sit here and kind of pretend that, my opinion is the general consensus one, but these channels are, all bigger than me, so I'll just throw that out there. But I just kind of wonder, would people prefer if instead of me speaking, right, I just say, you know what, my voice is problematic, so we'll just do every video like this.
Hello, this is JND. Welcome to my Dexter channel. I can't use my voice, so enjoy this robotic bullshit.
Would you guys really like that? And again, you add in the AI or the speech program along with videos that are mostly plot summaries or theories that they steal from somebody else. And I don't see what is gained from these channels. And I'm not the only one who's had this frustration. You got one guy going, get off my homepage, you make blank AI slop. He's on the I think it's the Dexcutioner channel. And the other one, this guy, and you can see where the video is. You're literally a filler channel. You have no points ever, and your videos are so dumb. Please quit or focus on things you can actually make good videos on. You're literally Naruto Shippuden, a blank filler show. You have absolutely nothing to offer when it comes to lore or really anything about Dexter. You repeat the exact same thing every single video. And you would say to yourself, if there are people who can call this out and just acknowledge, yeah, this is the same thing every time, right? Person goes, will Dexter unleash his dark passenger? Will Harrison meet his, doing that same kind of generic stuff over and over. But the issue here, again, is not that they do it. It's the fact that the site of YouTube rewards them for doing it. See, if I sit here and I make my, big hour-long, possibly 2-hour-long Dexter Resurrection season review, where I just go through all the episodes and explain, piece by piece how each one got worse after the other, which I don't believe, but just as an example of where to really show you how the decline started. If I take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to make that video, it's going to get less views than one of these guys putting up, it is blessing Harrison's real daddy, and it's not because their video is better than mine. It's a combination of when you put out so much, as the guy said, right, that filler, right, just this constant churning out of content. When some random unsuspecting person goes on YouTube and looks up Dexter, they're going to run into or have a higher chance of running into one of them with their little, crappy AI theory / recap videos, instead of where someone actually discussing and reviewing the material. And it's sad too, because it really feeds into this idea that you don't have to be an actual talented person to succeed on this site, certainly not within the realm of Dexter content. All you have to do is grab some footage of the show, get a few speech programs, right? Maybe a male sounding one if you're a guy, and put up some thumbnail of a character with where they're like cut out and there's a red on the side of them to symbolize the blood of Dexter, and there you go. There's your video, there's your material, there's your content. And it's sad, man. It really is. Because Dexter's the kind of show where I've thought about it for years. I've just never made videos about it, and I could easily make 30 or 40 videos that are like distinguishable from each other. I do season reviews and then rewrites of the various seasons, and just character analysis, all types of stuff that we could churn out that would be much more unique and substantive than this. I'm just going to call it what it is, garbage that they're putting out each day. And they would get rewarded for the trash over someone actually taking the time to make something that's thought out and well crafted. And it's unfortunate, because I'm not the only smaller channel that has that issue, where a lot of other people I've seen make reviews. It doesn't even have to be like, oh, I'm in some big setup, right, some nice mansion. You could do a video just sitting in your car or sitting in your bedroom. Hey, I thought this episode was great. Hey, I thought this episode was horrible. And their material, in spite of having more effort put into it than someone grabbing screenshots and having the computer read off some script that they probably had some AI generate for them, would get less attention, simply because they're not constantly putting out this influx of just trash material. It's really sad. It's really awful. Again, I don't have a problem with disagreements, but I really despise that this is what YouTube props up by virtue of its algorithm. And just, I don't think it does the series of Dexter any favors. I think it's a show that a lot of people could discuss and have like genuine and true conversations, whether it's agreements or disagreements about various plot points and characters, etc. But these guys aren't doing that. It's just, how can I make some quick money off of a thing that is popular right now? I know I'll fire up the AI program. I'll get my cutout system to chop up some pictures and it is it is the most paint by the numbers thing you've seen on that I've seen on here for a long time. And hopefully I'll see less of it as I make my own stuff.